Alright, guys. We're about 24 hours from knowing what the end result of this Seahawks game is going to be. But right now, I think a lot of people, even a lot of Seahawks fans, kind of feel like they already have a pretty good idea. This is probably the least optimistic the fan base has been about a game since Russell Wilson's rookie year, I guess. So this is a little bit of unfamiliar territory for at least some of the newer fans. We have way too many newer fans. I will admit that. They get on my nerves. I saw somebody drive by on the freeway yesterday with a Cubs decal on their car next to a Seahawk logo, and of course, it's wrong to assume things like that. I know, but I couldn't help it. It crossed my mind. Of course. So it doesn't look great going into tomorrow, and it's the first time in several years where I could really say that. I mean, I've thought we were probably going to lose one or two games, of course, over the past couple years, but this could get. This is the first time in the Russell Wilson era where I can really see a game getting ugly, because ever since 2012, this team, even when they lose, and they do lose every now and then, it's always a battle. It's always a fight. Tomorrow is the first time that I feel like maybe, but then I think this team always fights, This team has gone into games where they've been large underdogs before. They've gone into games where people were not picking them. They've gone into hostile road environments. They've had played games with a whole bunch of players injured. They've lost players in the middle of games in crucial moments, and doesn't matter. They always fight. So tomorrow, when we travel into Foxborough to take on the Patriots, I am going to expect these guys to fight. I'm going to expect these guys to go down swinging, if they do go down, because they find a way to do it every game they play. I think the last time we got really blown out in a game would be 2011 against probably the Bengals or the Cowboys, back when we had Tavares Jackson and freaking Charlie Whitehurst, I think. And, it's an era that's so far beyond our memory at this point after watching all these football games over the years. It comes from a completely different era of Seahawk football. So I'm not saying I expect to win. I think that's a little far-fetched. You're playing probably the best team in football right now. They're coming off a bye. We're traveling across the country to deal with them. We've still got problems on this team, some that can go away in the coming weeks and some that won't possibly ever go away. But we're going to find a way to make this an entertaining, interesting game. That's how I feel. And we're going to have a chance to win at the end. And when you get the game down to the last few minutes where you can make one play and possibly win, I'll take that. So, the game, our defense, this is why it's hard to have real confidence right now. We cannot rush the passer. Our pass rush right now is, I know we had like 4 or 5 sacks last week on Tyrod Taylor, but if you watch that game, most of the time when he dropped back to pass, he just stood back there for 5 or 6 seconds, and we couldn't get to him. And I know Cliff Avril gets held constantly, but he has that in common with a bunch of other really good pass rushers in this league. Von Miller's getting held all the time. Khalil Mack is getting held all the time. So that's kind of just what they have to do. And for whatever reason, well, okay, I know the reason. We just can't get to the quarterback right now. So, that offense, you got Tom Brady, you've got Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, probably going to play, but it's not a guarantee. You've got Martellus Bennett, who is also, I guess, probably going to play, but it's not a definite. Now you got Chris Hogan. That's not an offense you want to be dealing with when you cannot get pressure on the quarterback at all, because they are going to tear you up on third down. Like, the Patriots' offensive line is not that good. They're better than a lot of teams right now. A lot of teams have real problems there, but the offensive line was terrible last year. This year, it seems like it's gotten its act together a little bit. Excuse me. And for me, we got no Michael Bennett still. Cliff Averill still a monster out there. Frank Clark still playing very well. Great second year. And then you have blitzers. You have the pass rush you get when you blitz. And that's just not going to be enough. Last year we saw, 2 years ago in the Super Bowl, the most important thing that happened in that game really was Cliff Averill being removed from that game because of a concussion. After that, they were basically triple teaming Michael Bennett, and we couldn't get any kind of a pass rush in that game. So now we're going into this game with no Michael Bennett, so the reverse is true. You can put 3 guys on Cliff Averill, and hey, I love Frank Clark, but he's not a dominant force in this league yet. He's just a very good young pass rusher. You can deal with him within the confines of a normal game plan. You can't really deal with Michael Bennett and Cliff Averill in the confines of a normal game plan, but one of those guys you can adjust your game plan to kind of take him out of the game. So that's the main concern. We can't rush the passer. And if you can't rush the passer against really any team in the league, watch any game we played ever since Michael Bennett became a less effective player, you'll see. It doesn't work. Other than that, I think this team can really compete with New England, even though it's in New England, even though they're coming off the bye. Our defense has been on the field for 233 snaps over the last 3 games, which is ridiculous. I think we can stop the run reasonably effectively. The last few weeks, for all the problems that this team has had, especially on defense, running has been a little better against us than normal, but it's still, a lot of teams would like to have our run defense. And our offense, hey, we came alive a little bit last week, and I know the Bills, their defense is this and that. Their defense could be this, their defense could be that from week to week, who knows. I think this offense could do a little something. Patriots defense, it's good, but it's not something like Arizona where they can just take away everything that you do. I can see Doug Baldwin having a good game. I can see Jimmy Graham having a good game. I can see we might even get to run the ball a little bit this week. That would be a wondrous sight if we could actually run the ball a few times effectively. But there's still the problems with the offensive line, so I don't think we can win a shootout. We can put up points. I think we're going to score some points in this game, but I don't think we're not going to put up 40. I don't know if we're there yet. This offensive line, I think it's getting a little better, but it's still not there yet. And if this game turns into a shootout, I can't imagine it going good for the Seahawks. So I know this team is going to find a way to be engaged in this game at the end, because they always do. Winning, that's a little tough, but I'm going to watch. And if we win, then it'll be amazing and it'll be awesome. And obviously, it sets up so well for the whole rest of the season. If it doesn't happen, forget it. Move on. There's 7 games left. 7 very winnable games against teams that have real flaws, real problems. So do we, but we have a chance to maybe run the table after this game. So whatever happens tomorrow, short of devastating injuries, it's not going to make me lose faith in this season. We bought ourselves a little bit of breathing room by beating the Bills on Monday night, and now we might have to take a little bit of a lump tomorrow. I'm prepared for it. I'm ready for it, but I'm also ready for this team to do what they always do and give us a hell of a fight. All right, I'll make a video probably Monday. See you guys later.